I'm getting too, I had to heat it up.
Just letting everybody know we are live on YouTube.
5:30.
I didn't want to, I didn't want to kill that conversation.
Amanda just said it's live. Whatever you want to start.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
That's fine. Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, Mr. 30 word.
It's a committee meeting, so please rise to go to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First is minutes to approve.
Second, Mark.
Okay, any questions on the minutes? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you. No appointments, department. Mr. Dempsey or one of his representatives here? Certainly not. Okay, we'll go on to Grace. Finance, Grace Laws, please.
Yep. Good evening. You have my report in front of you. If anybody has any questions. One of the things I just wanted to add was I wanted to apologize. Generally, before the meeting, I try to get the sales tax report out, but we did just get the second payment in, so I'm hoping by the end of the week that report will be out. I do have two resolutions.
We can get right to them, I guess.
The first one is WM2. And that's basically authorizing us to enter into a contract with Armory Associates. And what they do is they do an actuarial valuation for the county to determine what our future liability is for post-employment benefits. It's keeps us in compliance with GASB 75, so it's work that has to be done. It has to be done by an actuarial.
Second, Basile.
Any questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. WM2.
And the second is WM3, and that also is authorizing us to enter into a contract with RDS Services. Basically, the county participates in a retiree drug subsidy program. And what USI actually does this program, and we get retiree drug subsidy money in. So what this is it's an additional contract with RDS. So they basically go in and reopen prior year applications, because sometimes it's dropped off or whatever. They go in and they look for additional revenue for us. They're paid on a contingency basis only. So if they find additional revenue, we pay them 30% of that. If they don't, we don't pay them.
Motion.
Move it, Basile.
Second.
I just have a question. So they're looking for savings on behalf of the county. So if the county's paying the drug costs and someone else should have, then they're going to try to recover those and take a portion, or?
Right. So what it is so the retiree drug subsidy program is basically for retirees that are eligible for Medicare D, but they're on our insurance. So it's basically encourages employers to keep them on their insurance. So I think they pay I think it's like 28% of retiree drug costs. So USI already does this work for us, but sometimes in the application process, something could get dropped off, or somebody gets dropped off, or a number could be input incorrectly. So RDS is a secondary company that will go in. They have an agreement with CMS, which is basically the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. And they're allowed to go in and reopen those closed and look for additional drug subsidy money.
Any questions or comments on that? Otherwise, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried also.
That's all I have.
That's it? No question in general for Grace, otherwise,
We're just still trying to fill your positions and
We still have the deputy director position open. We did changes in the office, so we actually gained some room where the director of purchasing will be coming down with us, and hopefully that will even help with additional collaboration that we have with her, with just trying to get our accounts payable and our purchasing policies going and in the right direction for the county.
thanks, Grace. Very good, thank you. Okay. Who's next? Jennifer, please.
You have my report in front of you. And I know Eileen was asking me to explain a little bit about tax rates. I don't know if you want me to do that now or if you want to wait until the budget portion
We do it now.
now.
I talked to Jenny about getting the Reader's Digest version, trying to understand as the conversation went on last night about the 8.8% tax rate decrease and the impact to various people in this community.
So the tax rate decrease is the full market value tax rate. So that's if all of our towns in our county were at 100% full value. So not all of our towns are at 100% full value. Many of them are below full value for how they're assessed. If everyone was at full value and had been at full value last year and then this year, you would expect to see an estimate everybody's tax bills to decrease because the rate per thousand decreased. But since not all the municipalities are assessed at 100% equalization, they're assessed below the full market value. So for apportionment purposes, when we distribute out what each municipality owes for the county tax, we bring it all up to full value so that it's equitable. So if you're looking at one town and they're only assessed at 50%, if we were to leave them at that 50%, they'd be paying a far smaller share of the county taxes than what they really should be. So we bring everybody up to full market value before we apportion the county taxes. When we actually go to calculate the tax rate for each of the municipalities, we're actually doing that just on their county taxable value, so not the equalized full market value. So for those towns that are below their full market value, as far as how they're assessed, they're spreading that tax levy over a smaller assessed value. So their tax rate's going to be higher. And for the people, that are assessed at 100%, so we do have 4 towns that did revaluation projects last year. Moravia, Summerhill, Venice, and Springport. They're all at their full market value. So their tax rates are lower because their overall assessed values are up where they should be.
And when I asked you, Jenny, I thought obviously
They were 100, the higher, you're right. The other two, just because tax has decreased, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody's tax bill has decreased. So for those towns that did the reassessments, most people's assessed values were increased because they were brought up to where the market is, which the market has been increasing over the past several years. So when we did the revaluation project, we did send out to everybody a disclosure notice to kind of give them an estimate of what kind of impact it might have on their taxes if the taxes were to stay the same. So that being said, just because the tax rate has decreased, it doesn't necessarily mean that their tax bill decreases. Tax rate changes between municipalities. It's going to be different for all municipalities. So we can't just say everybody's tax rate went down. It's gonna all depend on how they're assessed. Their full market values change from year to year and in comparison to all the other municipalities. So for like Auburn, their equalization rate decreased by 4%. So that was a relatively small change. We had other towns that their equalization rate decreased by 12%. So Auburn's actually seeing a decrease in their rate. The people that had like a 12% decrease in their equalization rate, they're gonna see an increase in their tax rate. So it's all relative to how the other towns have changed. Clear as mud.
I want a picture drawings.
I would say it's all math, but
I thought the pilot was complicated. when we had to go-
I know. So I don't know if you have questions on that to help explain it, or if I've completely confused everybody.
Totally get it.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
okay. All right, if you do have any more questions, feel free to call me and hopefully
Be out of the office.
you know, I could maybe show you some examples or illustrations, you know, with actually showing you the map, that maybe that would help, I'm not sure. I'm a visual person
That would
myself,
help.
so,
Yeah.
Greatly.
so, you know, if you wanted me to send you something, I'm happy
I
to do
would
that.
love that, please.
Okay, perfect. But,
Jen, how many towns and villages in the county are at 100%?
so there's,
Without name them, just a number.
it's just those towns that did the
Just
revaluation
the four?
projects, so there's just those 4 towns.
You're basically at 100% that 1 year.
Unless you don't really have a lot of market fluctuation. Right now, that's not a reality for anybody, but you know, there's been years in the past where people have been able to do a revaluation and keep themselves at 100 for a couple of years. But that's not this current market.
Any further questions or comments? Otherwise, thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, Diane Ferris, please.
Good evening. You have my report. I'll just ask if anyone has any questions for me.
Any questions? Good. Better get away free.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Diane. Okay, Amanda O'Grady.
You all have my report if you have any questions.
We're gonna miss you on the 6th floor. You're going down to the 5th one.
Yeah.
Hi.
Please staircase away. I'm sure I'll be up visiting a lot
I'm sure.
in Attorney's office.
To rate the elevators at one point.
Yeah, you may have to walk up, but
I did follow up with Steve Lynch about where we are with that request for questions around the broadband. And that is something you have been working on, trying to entice to actually get some technical assistance so we can start working with some internet service providers to apply for grant funding or.
Yeah, we're meeting again the week after Thanksgiving. So we're gonna regroup again, and he had gotten some more information. And so we're gonna look at all that, and the final plans came out from New York. So we're gonna take a look at everything and try to see which route to go.
Great, thank you.
I'd like to point out that Amanda it's in her report, she did find a cost savings, an estimated cost savings, $78,000 down to $3,000 for disposing of the old voting machines. So I think that's terrific.
We're
So, thank you.
disposing of them?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
it was budgeted for 82,000. I found a $3,800 option. That's within the state compliance.
Awesome, wonderful, great.
well, that's yours, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Step out.
Dave probably means it.
Anybody further?
Thanks, Amanda.
That's great. So, nice job.
If not, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're down to resolutions. Okay, first one, I don't think we have anything to do with yet, do we?
That's correct. It'll be after the special meeting.
Okay. So we're looking at number 4, our final meeting for December 14th. Motion,
Move it, Mark.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Setting a date for public hearing. On the budget. Second, please.
Second.
Okay, any comments or discussion? What is the date?
Yeah.
Fred?
Let me look.
December
Don't have a full
12th.
December
resolution.
12th.
December 12th.
December 12th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so 2 days before the final meeting.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried also. Authorizing WM6, authorizing the corrections of real property taxes by the county treasurer in amounts of 2,500 or less. WM6, motion please.
Move it, Mark.
Second please. Elaine?
Yep.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? None, so carried. WM7, authorizing the levy of agricultural conversion payments. Motion, please.
Move it.
Second? Who seconded? Somebody? You did? Okay, thanks.
This is pretty standard.
What?
This is pretty standard.
Yeah, this is standard. This is people who got an agricultural exemption and later on converted that property to a non-agricultural use. And now they have to pay 5 years of back taxes.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions, comments? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. WM8, levy of taxes for water district 3 and sewer district 2 for several towns.
Move it.
Second, please.
Second, Mark.
Any questions on this or comments? Hey, no, nobody speaking. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Also carried. Number 9, authorizing the director of real property tax services to apportion community college costs for tax purposes. Motion, please.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Otherwise, all those in favor of 9?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed or anyone opposed? So carried. Number 10, authorizing the county treasurer to pay mortgage taxes to the towns, I guess, mostly. Motion, please.
I'll move.
Second.
Mark and myself, either one.
Okay.
Yep.
Andy can figure it out.
Okay. Questions or comments? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Number 11, authorizing the levy of amended taxes. Need a motion and second.
Move it, Mark. Second, Petrus.
Thank you.
And these are just errors? that-
What? Yeah, these are errors.
Just-
Yeah.
If they find errors, then you, no.
They're not errors. It's primarily when a property transfers
Mhm.
in the middle of the year after taxable status date, and there is an exemption on the property that the new owner isn't eligible for.
Oh,
So the tax is prorated back to the prior year, and they are.
like a star exemption or something similar that.
Yeah, like a veteran's exemption or
Mhm.
something like that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Further questions, comments? Hey, Lydia?
How are you?
It's all those in favor of 10, 11.
11.
11.
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Number 12, prorate cost of services provided to towns. Motion, please.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second, Mark.
Okay, any comments, questions?
And this is where the county just bills back the services they provide to the towns and villages?
Correct. So we charge for licensing fees
Yeah.
for ImageMate as well as the real property system. and also a portion of our staff salary.
So it's reimbursement coming into the county, from the towns and villages.
Yep.
Any further questions? Not all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Number 13. This is the working man's gas station, I believe, right? Jennifer?
This one, no, this is a property on River Road that the town of Aurelius purchased property from the Canal Corporation and subdivided it out and allowed the people that had been leasing the property to buy it. And so those structures had been assessed separately from the land. And so essentially this property, this is a suffix parcel, so it's just a structure. It had been merged with the land and assessed with the land. So this is a duplicate parcel,
Okay.
or duplicate tax.
Did we have a motion? We didn't, did we?
I'll move it, Mark.
So motion, please.
I'll move it, Mark.
Second, please.
Second, Beatrice.
Okay, this is number 13. So any further questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Dave?
is this the one down by the locks in Cayuga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Also carried. Number 14, insurance costs to departments that receive reimbursements. This is important to keep our fiscal health better. So, motion,
I'll move it.
second.
Second, Basile.
Okay, discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And carried. Number 15, salary adjustments. This is a percentage, I believe, on all the non-bargaining employees. So correct me if I'm wrong, somebody.
It is a 3.5% increase for next year for the non-bargaining, now that all the contracts are settled.
Okay. What it is. Okay, motion, please.
Move it, Basile.
Second. Come on, guys.
Yep, second, yep.
Gee whiz.
Sorry, I'm not on this committee.
There are,
Yeah.
there are exclusions, yeah, there are exclusions of who gets covered under this and who doesn't in the resolution, so.
So, I guess all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Also carried. Thank goodness go over that. So, Dan, I guess it's your turn.
Oh, yes, that's true. Health and Human Services had 12 resolutions. This month they've been to the Health and Human Services Committee. I would offer them up as a bundle unless anyone wants any of them separated out. There's
The bundle.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions now? Not all those in favor of the bundle? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Sure. That was easy. Government operations, I believe, is next.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Government Operations had 6 resolutions. For the most part, it's contracts and such, so I will offer them as a bundle at this time.
Is there a second?
Second, Mark.
I take it you moved them, right?
Okay?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
move them as, I move 1 through 6 as a bundle.
we're good. We'll get there. Okay, discussion, questions? Otherwise, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Votes passed. Planning,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Planning has 3 resolutions, been through committee. Entertain a motion to bundle unless there's discussion on any.
No, can't. Gotta pull PL three. Gotta pull PL three. Not pull it.
That's only at the full ledge though.
That's at the full edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
so the one was 1 and 2.
So No, I'll move 1 through 3, right? Unless somebody wants that one.
No, no.
Okay, so I'll move 1 through 3. As a bundle.
Second, Mark.
Okay, questions on it or comments? If not, all those in favor, aye. The bundle.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So it's carried. Public Works,
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe.
Public
the-
Works,
there you are.
Andy is counting the beans tonight.
Yeah,
so
the bean
he's,
counter, I know.
I'm gonna have to pick whatever's on the ground. And there's, we have 10, we had 11, taken PW 10 out. And a bundle 1 through 9, and then PW 11, all bundles.
Okay, the bundle, without number 10.
Move it,
Without
Basile.
10.
Move the bundle as stated.
Second,
They'll put it in at a later date.
second, anybody?
I'll second, Mark.
Okay, discussion, any comments, questions? If not, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It's also carried. Thank you, Mike. Judicial and Public Safety, Mark, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Judicial and Public Safety has a total of 13 resolutions tonight. They all went through committee at the request of the 911 director. She asked if I would pull JP1 at her request. So I would like to pull JP1. Also, JP6 was amended, so I'll keep that one separate. But I would like to bundle 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 as a bundle.
Move it, Basile.
Second. Okay. Okay, any discussion or comments on the bundle? Nobody? All those in favor of the bundle, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, JP6 was amended at judicial, and I'll just read the paraphrase here. Authorization to provide paid overtime to attorney support staff for additional duties worked on Dreams projects, phase 4 for the period of 1/1/2024 through 12/3/31/2026. And I think the change was that we put a maximum amount of $80,000. Correct me if I'm incorrect.
We were gonna allocate $80,000 from the public project.
Yes, that was the change, the amount of money.
Yep.
So I would offer that up
Okay,
as amended.
an amendment. Have an amendment to,
No, as amended.
The regular, yeah,
Yeah, we already amended it.
it's already been amended, yeah.
okay, very good. Motion to that effect,
I'll move that.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion or comments, questions, Jim?
2026 is the reason I went out there.
I think that's when the Dreams project is
Yep.
supposed to end.
Oh, it's one,
And
okay,
it's,
We have a deadline.
yeah, okay.
Any further questions, comments? Everybody happy? Okay, all those in favor of JP6, aye?
aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. And I believe that's it.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay. We're gonna reconvene immediately into special means discussing the budget.
Can I ask a question? What happened with JP 10 or whatever, Mike? No, PW 10.
Yeah, I would like to clarify, was that just no motion at Ways?
10,
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
the PW 10 resolution, you said you bundled everything but PW 10.
Public Works has taken it, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks. PW 10, the quotes came in for that project right at our threshold for going to an RFP. And since it's so close to that, after speaking with Amanda, we decided it needs to go to an RFP. So that's why it's pulled off of there.
Oh,
We just did
okay.
it this afternoon after looking at it. So that's why it will be pulled and it's so obviously.
So instead of taking it from contingency, you're gonna see if you can get a better price?
Yeah, we're gonna take it through a full RFP
Yes,
process as opposed to getting quotes, because it's right on the cusp of that purchasing policy.
Okay. All right, that.
Makes sense.
It does, thank you.
What's that now?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
We have never get
Done all action.
It's already done, right?
Done that?
Give us
So-
some favor.
Oh, the next meeting to order.
Don't forget, everybody, this Ways and Means next month is early again too, Tuesday, December 12th. On your calendars.
Okay, everybody's ready, we'll start.
I have some handouts for you.
Set without the flag or
Ready?
Have a good night.
It's up to you.
Sharing.
What are you taking the
I'm taking them back unless anyone wants them. It'll be so quick. We can't start a meeting before the-
But I hope.
no record. Half an hour for.
Yesterday was marathon.
Yeah.
Makes you think tonight's gonna be different.
Can't be. You've already got finished one ingredients.
Brought donuts for a reason.
Yeah.
That's supper tonight. No. You're up first.
Projects that's in the works, yeah, this month.
Correct.
Okay.
There's nothing else added in there.
Lydia's here as well.
Oh, geez.
Oh, just, yeah. Well, there would be we would change. Let's just say you want to. Yes. Well, yes, if there was a change, they have to make that. That's that. We would just. Yeah, well, that's from all the.
Then we were.
This is just a warm up. This is just a warm up.
Well, wait.
The hoopla will start next week.
So I might not
No.
stay.
Doesn't work. I think so.
Thank you. Good boy. Appreciate your consideration.
Budget vote. 2 days before. Yeah.
That was my understanding. Was that the conversation we did yesterday?
It's the one that the committed is the money.
So,
I'll be there.
so these
Hey,
So I handed out a summary that we can start with, but this other bigger piece of paper right here, people had requested how much ARPA funding is left.
That's
So
done.
this is just a summary that I printed
yes, it will.
for you.
Huh?
It shows of our total allocation of the $14,873,000. The available column, again, we could spend 10 million on it, on revenue loss items, which would be probably anything that would be normally spent by the government. And then the special category had the 4.8 million in it. So of resolutions that have been passed, so nothing that was talked about at yesterday's meeting or passed tonight at the Ways and Means meeting is not included.
Very good. Next time meeting with her.
Did you want to do the pledge?
well, I asked earlier, but nobody answered, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's up, it's a new meeting, so it's up to you if you want to do the pledge.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're wearing that red shirt.
Okay, good. I thought we got it.
I believe government
Slide up here so you can.
committee. Yep.
Okay, so we just want to go over, we can go over quickly the summary that I've
handed you to help kind of guide us through this a little bit. The first department is still labeled as county manager, but it's kind of the administrative staff. It would be myself, Shereen, and Sarah. There was a decrease in this. The purchasing director has been moved to her own department now. So those expenses you'll see over in account A1660, and that has just the purchasing agent in there. The next budget is the county attorney's department. There were some increases in salary there due to the restructuring for the salaries for the legal group. They also had an increase in their professional services due to an increase in the property foreclosure contract that they have and the other contract that they have for the outside attorney. Fred could explain what they do. I say it's for juvenile prosecution.
That's correct. JD prosecution.
A contract we've had for a long time, but it does include some extra monies for that contract. You know, I'm not going to mention anything else significant. If you have any questions in the book, we could certainly go over there, but there's nothing else, any larger changes. A lot of these are somewhat smaller departments. For the county clerk and the DMV together, there was a decrease in the revenue for the county clerk's office, but there was also pretty much an offsetting increase in the revenue at the Department of Motor Vehicles. There was a percentage change in what they get to keep for all the transactions that are online or done in the office, so that they're anticipating that revenue going up, even though maybe we've had a little less traffic in person. And the county clerks, I think, are going down mainly because there's less mortgages with the interest rates as high as they are right now.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Lynn, did you by any chance factor in the change in retention from the online transactions?
Yes, that's why the motor vehicles is up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
without
I'm
that,
sorry.
it wouldn't have been up.
I thought, the clerk's revenue was
Clerk's
down
revenue
this
is
year.
down and the DMV is up.
Okay.
For the records department and the historians department, there was no significant changes there. They're small departments. Next department is IT. We did have a decrease in the equipment request of $153,000, but we are still budgeting $450,000 there. So it's still a significant investment in computer equipment. We continued pretty much the same level of software and systems investments. Budgeted at $1.3 million. So just kind of give you an idea of how much we spend there. We are spending quite a bit there. We didn't cut it. The Veterans Department is next, and I am requesting one of my housekeeping adjustments. After looking at this and talking about it with Kevin Schwab, their local share was up by $100,000, and I'm like, Kevin, this doesn't look right. So we realized it actually was due to the Dwyer grant. We had some of the expenditures for salaries still a little too high. Last year, he kind of had double the amount of revenue because of the way the grant timing was. So he and I have talked and we're on the same page. So I'm going to request that you make the following adjustment. It would be to decrease the full-time salary, their account A65101-51001, decrease the full-time by $43,919, decrease their part-time salary line by $40,073, and decrease their social security by $6,173. We also are going to increase his department expense by $23,000, and that's object 54074. So net, it's going to be a net decrease in expenditures of $70,165. And I would suggest that we offset it by just reducing the sales tax estimate. Yeah.
Do the resolution right now, so. Right?
I'm sorry, what? Yes.
Okay,
Might be easier to do it as we go along.
yeah, okay, so a motion to that effect,
Move it, Mark, I guess.
second,
I'll second, but I have a question. So this is,
let's get a second, then you get.
I guess, I said I'll second, and then I'll have a question.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're increasing their budget by 70,000.
No, we're decreasing it.
Okay,
We're lowering the full-time salary, the part-time salary, and the FICA, and we're increasing his department expense. And it's all related to the grant. So, but overall, the expenditures will come down by $70,165.
so you just want to decrease the sales tax by that?
You could offer whatever you want. You can amend what I just said.
That's a tough.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I guess I'm curious, why would we decrease your sales tax projection? We just increased it by 100,000, so this could be offsetting.
Well, we didn't decrease it by 100,000 yet because the resolution got taken. But yes, it could be. I mean, you can,
It'd be less of the fund balance
you
or,
could use the fund balance,
okay.
or you could do, I mean, the sales tax is such an estimate that really whatever it comes in at, it's kind of gonna affect the use of the fund balance, right? If it's over, if
Yeah.
it comes in over what I put in as a budget, then we'll use less of the fund balance. If it comes in under, it's gonna use more of the fund balance. So whatever you want, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm picking, to just say, to keep it simple.
Further discussion?
No.
Anybody?
Point of order, it can only Ways and Means Committee people vote on the
Yep.
budget at this point.
At this point,
Yes,
that's
thank
correct,
you.
yes.
You just need to remove $70,000 from one pot, one place or the other. So if your recommendation is to take it from the sales tax, then I'll move that.
Is this again with the projected sales tax?
That's the tax levy, or you could reduce.
And you're
the use of the
decreasing it.
Fund balance by 70,000,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
So you could take, we have 6.9 million in fund balance, balance this budget. We could reduce that by 70,000, or we could reduce the sales tax protection by 70,000 to make this work.
your motion is to,
Lynn said at this point, the sales tax projection, the sales tax revenue is a projection.
right,
So, you know, if it makes sense to just take the 70,000 from, so it'd be 30 million, whatever. You just change that by
And if
$70,000.
we end up making a motion for another, sales tax will be almost exactly what I recommended to start with,
so,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
but that hasn't happened yet.
Right,
So I can clarify, you made a motion to decrease by 70,000 the sales tax
projection
projection.
that's coming in. Yeah,
I'll second it.
Further discussion? Any questions? Anybody confused?
Yeah, because I think it was already seconded,
I'm sorry.
open for discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was
I
open.
was trying to catch up.
Just just to clarify, did we have a motion?
We do.
Then we
Yeah.
made another
It
motion,
seconded it.
vote on the first.
I think the second action was,
Just to
Question.
more of a
clarify,
question. yeah.
clarifying, yeah.
From the-
Seconded it, and then I asked the question.
Okay, so.
Yep.
All right, just want to make sure we're
You're the
the
one.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
So we're going back to Lynn's original request, so.
Right.
Yes.
This is really a
Right.
housekeeping.
Yes,
in your
it is,
budget.
it
It's
is, yes.
just
I
maybe
realized
right.
it afterwards that it didn't look appropriate. He agreed with me. We've talked about it, so.
Further discussion, questions? If not, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you, Lynn.
The next thing on the sheet here, is Board of Elections. Board of Elections, there is an increase in salary due to additional poll workers during the election season that will be coming up. We actually did reduce the request that they had by a little bit, but it still is up, some.
Do we need to make an adjustment to the salaries now, is what you're suggesting?
No, I'm just letting you know that what they have requested, we lowered it in the tentative budget by a little
Okay.
bit, but it is still up from 23, but it's it's a presidential election year. So they will have more full insights, they will have more, so that's typical that we would have a kind of a cycle in the department.
Yeah, the reason for the additional poll workers is the early voting. That's the reason.
The presidential also.
Right,
Yes.
we have more locations, I think.
Yep. Okay, good. Next page, huh?
Yep.
That's the question. Okay. Public Works.
The next is building salaries. The salaries do include a full-time position, but that was approved during 2023. We had converted some part-time to full-time to hopefully try and attract somebody, so that is already in the budget. We did include some funding for a new plow truck, building department, and we have included some funding for some of the projects that he requested. If you want to have more detail, it's certainly on the sheet that I handed out yesterday. You can see what we included or not, but we did include a couple items. I noted here 150,000 for the boilers at the courthouse, $75,000 to pave parking lot, Pardenburg, and $50,000 for some masonry roof work at the historic post office. There were a couple other smaller things too, so.
Moving right along, I guess, no questions, so.
So parks, we did increase the revenue due to some parking fees that Doug had suggested, do it for some events that they're gonna be having. We did include the dump truck, the plow for some equipment, and a medium ATV to be used up there. Again, he had quite a few requests for some maintenance improvements. We included some, we did not include others. We did include $165,000 to continue the work that he had already started to do this sidewalk and lighting replacement project up there. $100,000 was included to rehab the main bathrooms. $65,000 to continue curb replacement, some paving repairs, and some other small items we also had included. Of note, two of the bigger things that we did not include is $150,000 for network/surveillance systems up at the park, or $110,000 for a pavilion facade repair. Those are things that the capital reserve is a good option for if the legislature decides to pursue working on them. Then the agriculture museum, we did include $45,000 to seal the roof.
Any questions on parks? Comments? Everybody's quiet, so keep on going.
Weights and measures, there's no significant change there, as I would expect. The highway department, talked a little bit about this yesterday. We did increase the transfer from the general fund to the D fund, which is really how they get their tax levy moved over to them. We increased that by $300,000. There was no change in the staffing there, the budget. We did increase the state aid for highway expenditures a little bit, but I think it increased to what we expected to get based on this year's. I did decrease the paving line by $200,000. It still is currently budgeted at $4.1 million. Just to let you know, there is still a significant investment in paving. We did not cut it by a large amount. And the same with the equipment. We've maintained the equipment investment of $2 million. This is highway equipment that they'll need.
Any comments?
Chairman, I have a question. This goes to Lynn and we made a request for $1 million for Long Hill project resurfacing. How did we make out with that? Do we have the money as the ARPA request?
You just passed it.
Just
Gotta go to
Did it
the-
pass? That's, I guess
Well,
I,
it's gotta go to the floor.
okay.
It was in one of these bundled resolutions, that and the 75 or 750,000 for the elevators.
It's got to go to the full ledge meeting, Mark.
Okay, so and my question was, did we get that issue ironed out? And I was left with the question.
Yes, the resolution was put in as passed both committees.
Very good, thank you.
It's only counts portion of the.
I know. Thank you.
Any questions on the highway? Or none, we'll continue. There's me. Purchasing.
Yes, the Ways and Means, as I said, the purchasing department has been added, so if you looked in your budget book, that would be something new that we have separated out now. Then we go into the finance office. The most notable item there is we did increase the revenue for interest earnings on the deposits we have. We're projecting that the interest rates will continue to stay at higher than normal levels. We increased that by $600,000. The auditor and the real property departments had no significant changes. For the county treasurer, we do have an offsetting loss there, and that would be for the revenue we used to get for foreclosures. So we have zeroed that out. It used to be $450,000 in the 2023.
I'm sorry, used for the what? I can't hear.
For the foreclosures that we used to
Foreclosures,
get.
sorry, I didn't-
Yes, so we
Thank you.
zeroed it out.
Money that we made a couple of years ago.
Is that still like in limbo? That you're just not going to recognize it until the state knows it's totally passed?
It was a Supreme Court decision, so that is,
It's,
a United States Supreme Court decision.
okay, so basically the county can't collect
We
more than
can't-
they spend.
Right, we can't keep the
Yeah.
excess.
And that's fully in place. Okay.
We don't have the state laws yet for us how to implement that, but we cannot keep the excess.
So you're not even going to collect it and hold it and then refund it, or you're just kind of are.
We're still walking through what the options are. There was a presentation by the Trial Lawyers Association earlier this week. In addition to that, on October 30th, a class action suit was filed in the Northern District Court in Albany, so we're trying to get a copy of that decision. We still have to sort through how that filing may impact on the auction coming up in 24. So it's in a little bit of a state of flux at this point.
But the message here is you're not going to recognize any revenue.
Correct.
Okay.
After that, we just have the Civil Service Department. They had no significant changes either. And then after that, I've just listed a couple of, overall county impacts on the budget that I probably mentioned in my presentation. We have the health insurance increase. The rates did go up 9.5%, which is pretty large for us. We've been having more like 3%, 4%, 5%. This was a much bigger increase. The impact on the budget was mitigated by the fact that we negotiated higher employee contributions to health insurance, but retirees, that cost really gets borne by the county since their percentages don't change. The contribution to the retirement system, the rates went up, not a percentage change, but the contribution rate itself went up overall pretty much 3%. So that's an additional $1.3 million we're gonna owe to the state for when we make our payment. On the next page, I included on here, so we haven't talked about it yet, is Cornell Cooperative Extensions. Their contribution, we increased it from 352,000 to 330, I'm sorry, from 338. That was what they requested, 352. We also have the provision for salary adjustments. In the budget, it's budgeted at 340,000. That would be for the non-bargaining raises, because they're not included in the individual departments. Last year, that account was budgeted at $1 million because we had a lot of union contracts that had not been negotiated at that time. So that would be a drop in that expenditure line from 1 million to 340. And the funds that we set aside for casualty and liability claims, we left it the same, $200,000. And not on my sheet, but the contingency account is also the same. We left it $200,000, the same as we had in the prior year. That was no change either.
Any questions on the last column or everything else that's been discussed, brought up so far? None,
Behind you, behind you.
we'll go on to
Mark had,
resolutions.
Mark had a comment.
Last night in the APS side of the house for the sheriff, we talked for quite a while about the boat, $100,000 ask for that. And I asked that I get the opportunity to speak with Lynn today about it. I did that. And so with that, I'd like to increase the expenditure line by 200,000, increase the state aid by 100,000, and then increase sales tax revenue line by 100,000. Lynn said that she would help me with the line item numbers. So basically, the $100,000 grant that is available through state aid would offset the $200,000 cost for the boat. And so that, the county would be responsible to match the $100,000. So to increase the sales tax revenue line by 100,000 would pay for the boat. That's just a general explanation of what I'd like to do.
You offer that as a motion?
I do, sir.
Okay, we need a second.
Second, Basile.
Okay, we're open for discussion.
I guess my thought on this is I won't be supporting this. I think, we're recognizing that we already have an $8 million increase from our budget from last year. We have over half from 3 million of fund balance to 6.9 million of fund balance to balance this operating budget. We're asking for a very modest tax increase, which will really not bring a ton of revenue into the county. I heard the remark yesterday that, if we're serious about public safety, we should just buy this new boat. And we have been extremely serious about public safety. The sheriff's budget is up by, his salaries alone are up by $1 million. We have investments in body worn cameras and tasers. He's the only department that's getting 3 additional staff. I just think this is discretionary, and we have a huge growth in this budget that at some point is going to be catching up with us, and I'm not going to support any additional increases in this budget at all.
Christine, you were there?
I know I'm
You're
not on this
vote.
committee and I can't vote on this, but we're looking at the ARPA funds, and I would just ask him to maybe hold off on this until we can finish evaluating and looking at these ARPA funds. Because if we can fund that with ARPA and not affect this budget, I think that would be a wise move for us.
Mr. Chair.
Jim?
I just wanted to comment on the word discretionary spending. Public safety for those that live on bodies of water is just like those that live on roads. That's all. It's not discretionary.
Discretionary,
We
we don't
need-
have to spend this money. We have to spend the Medicaid money. We have to spend the retirement money. Those are not, in my mind, discretionary. I'm not minimizing that public safety on the water is important. I'm just saying this expenditure doesn't have to be made. We've made significant investments already. That was wasn't trying to be insulting in any way.
Chris?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I have a call into Mr. Palermo to see, and perhaps maybe Mr. Westfall could look into it as well to see if that is an accepted or approved use of ARPA funds.
We have a unrestricted, so there's 2 pots of money.
Out of the unrestricted pot. So I just wanted a confirmation.
Yeah, so we could take it out of the unrestricted, so I wasn't even worried about that it had to come out of
The only thing I would maybe say is that you may not be eligible for the 100% match, the $100,000 state aid match. So I don't think I would use it for that. It is totally eligible as an expenditure, but if you want to be able to claim it for the $100,000 in state aid, you really probably can't use federal money to get the match.
So why can't we say, perhaps I'm oversimplifying this, but maybe someone can explain to me why, if we have the fund balance, and I realize, as we discussed last night, that we're a projected use of the fund balance, but why are we in a place where we're saying we would rather do the projected sales tax revenue or something like that? Why wouldn't we utilize our savings, so to speak, to purchase a boat and capture those 100,000, the matching funds? So I guess that would be my question, and both sort of a statement as well. Like, why wouldn't we do that if we can?
Okay, just from my opinion, this wasn't put in the tentative budget for some reason. You did not include it when this budget was passed, so.
Taken out of the budget.
It was. He had requested it. Dave's tentative budget did not include it. That's why we're at this position where we'd have to add it in, so it wasn't included. It's my understanding from listening to you last night that this $100,000, this 50% match has been available every year.
Every year that I was there. Don't know about the last 3 years.
I'm just saying, I'm not comfortable increasing this budget for any.
All I would say is, well, whatever gets decided, like the vehicles, like with the highway department, if you don't get these things on a rotation, you're gonna have a major expenditure when they all go. The boats probably, if there's 4 of them, if they were on like a 4 to 5 year rotation, you would only be buying 1 new boat every 15 years, if I did the math right. And you'd only have that expenditure once every 5 years, to do that, so. you gotta start somewhere. It was kicked down the can last year too, so
Yeah, this
kick
was
it down the can again this year if you want, but
this boat was taken out of the budget last year also.
He said what I was gonna say.
Okay, anybody else? Any other comments?
I just wanna say how much I like it, Lane.
I guess I would just say, from my perspective, that from the vehicles and the boats we've approved through soil and water and other expenditures, it takes a significant amount of time for these things to come in. So even if we approve this, it could be a couple of years before they actually get the boat. So I'm inclined to support it. I think with the sales tax manipulation, it's just a projection. But at some point, it's gonna have to be replaced. And so I think this year's maybe a good year to do that. Even though I can't vote tonight.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Lynn, and I know you and I talked, and I'm just, is this the right way to go about this? Is this the proper way of asking for this money? Make everybody happy? Is there another way? I don't know about the ARPA money. I mean, I'm looking at the ARPA money sheet that you gave me here. There's $1 million and, or, 1.1 million in one, almost 2.7 million in another. $100,000 out of either one of those would be fine, but I just want to make sure, is it eligible to match the grant? Is the sales tax the way to go, or is it the fund balance? I'm not the expert. I'm just trying to get the money for the boat. And I have to reemphasize what Jim said. We went down this road with the vehicles, and then all of a sudden we got handed all the lease running out. We gotta have vehicles. We got hit with 8 vehicles or something like that in this year's budget. I don't want that to happen, down the road, 2-3 years from now, and all of a sudden we gotta have 3 boats at $200,000 or $300,000 a pop, and that $100,000 match might not be there, may be there. I think this is, I just think it's the way to go.
David?
Yeah, I think we need to find out if the ARPA money will be reimbursed, the 100,000 will come back. How do we find that out, Lynn? Do you know?
You really can't. There's no one to call. I do not feel comfortable claiming it first day date if it's federal money we're using to pay for it. I just would not.
Is the sheriff, hey, Brian, you're online. Do you have any idea, can we call Albany and find out from this grant people if it would be covered if we take it out of ARPA?
I don't know that they could answer that question, right? I think it would be a question for whoever distributes the ARPA funds. I'm not sure that the state could tell us, whether or not that's an appropriate use of the ARPA funds. I mean.
Oh, I don't mean it that way, Brian. I mean that if we use the ARPA funds, will we get that $100,000 match grant back if we use the ARPA funds?
Like the question would be to the state, if we use federal funds to make this purchase, can we claim it for state reimbursement?
Right.
That's the question. 50%.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's somebody that I could probably call and ask that question. I don't know if they'll be able to answer that for me, but I can try.
Okay, if you would do that, I think the ARPA committee would need to know that. I appreciate it, Sheriff.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Sure.
So you want to? That's call.
Getting near 30 words.
Right.
Lynn, so perhaps if I ask a direct question, because I realize it's our job to decide. Help me understand why it would behoove us. What is the benefit? I can't get the sentence out. Why wouldn't we use fund balance?
It's your choice what you want to use.
So, okay, fair enough.
So I want to be clear about something else. We set aside $3 million to make the budget, whole for last year, and we did not use any of that money. That $3 million kept put back into our fund balance, correct? So we went from 28 to 31 million.
No, it's the 28 is with it.
With it in.
All right, so we're at 28 million. So now we're saying we're gonna have to spend 7.9 million or 6.9 million, whatever it is, to make the budget whole this year. Is there anything that says that we're gonna spend all that money, or are we gonna be in the same position 2025, budget
I don't have a crystal ball.
I don't either,
I don't
but
think the
I'm-
sales tax is gonna come out significantly higher anymore. I think that that's a thing of the past. Our sales tax is running flat right now with last year. And I put a 3% increase in there. That has been what's driven up that fund balance. And you have to remember, because we've had this ARPA money, a lot of the requests that Gary had as the buildings director, we were taking from ARPA. In the past, they always came from the fund balance. So every year, it wasn't just the budget spent fund balance, and that's gonna be right where we are probably by the end of 24. This money's gonna be gone. So the next types of repairs, the nice kind of road that gets washed out, the next, all that stuff, we're gonna be using our fund balance. So we've had a nice run for the last couple of years that we didn't have to touch it for that.
I'm gonna suggest that we table this to the regular meeting, which is coming up in a week. So information can be gathered as to the use of the ARPA funds, et cetera.
We actually got 2 weeks. It's the 28th, and maybe the sheriff can get us an answer for that by then.
Is that a motion to table or is
I will offer it as a motion.
is there a second?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor of tabling, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Well, by hearing the voices, I would say it's passed. Tabling, it's going to be tabled, so. Okay, any other?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to throw another monkey wrench into the works. For a couple of years now, we've been dealing with and working hard for the public utility. And I'm putting myself on the mercy of the legislature to ask for some serious seed money that we can push forward the public utility to kind of offset all of the solar farms that are going up in the county, to which we are reducing the pilots, their tax revenue. Also, residents are not getting any value out of that, these solar projects and wind projects as well. So I'm kind of asking from the legislature that they consider putting some seed money, and I believe this in my heart to be a one-time ask of $500,000 to get the utility recognized as a lightly regulated utility and put forth some projects in the county.
Where from? The 500, did I miss?
I'm not the expert on that one, but I don't care, quite honestly.
Okay, so you're offering that as a motion?
Yes, sir.
We need to know where.
We need a second?
You need to know where from though. Don't we?
We got,
We need to know where the monies are coming from.
Well,
Sales tax, the fund balance.
Is it for staff? I mean, do you have a plan of how you?
You need a second to discuss that.
Yeah, there's not
You need a second.
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
there you go.
no, we gotta find where.
That's what the discussion is. Where's the money gonna come from?
I would like to contribute to the discussion. I know that Legislator Kerr has asked multiple times for minutes and information from this and from Kabusa and has not received it. So I would find it really hard to want to give $500,000 to an agency that's not providing us with the information we've been asking for.
Well, sometimes you have to have seed money, as it's called, so.
I understand, but the minutes from their meetings is not need seed money.
Go ahead.
If I could, definitely would like to see more transparency, but I was hoping Kapusa would come forward with some kind of a funding request for this budget. I would love to see some details around that, what the funds would be used for, how it would be used, and kind of what your plan is for, maybe next year, maybe the next couple of years. Kapusa has so much potential for economic development for this county, for the region, that we should be investing in it and doing what we can to support it. But at the same time, definitely have some concerns about lack of transparency and just not really fully getting a picture of what's going on there. But if you're able to provide some detail, I think it would be appreciated by myself and some others here.
Anybody else?
I'd like to say something, Mr. Chairman, if I can. I've been a legislator for 3 years. now, just short a month or two here. And first year I was here, Pusa was given $9,000, 9,000 and some change. And that's it. Now, if you think about all the things that Capusa has the potential of doing, and the monies that we have given other, I'll even say CETA, water and sewer, soil and water, all those things that I have fought hard for in the soil and water to raise their budget. We talk about economic growth. We talk about micro. Capusa is setting in the driver's seat to help us get to that place that Micron wants us to be. I can't believe that we're gonna, I understand, I have to agree, maybe there's gotta be some transparency. But if we just do nothing and we roll this over to another year or another year down the road with a $9,000, blessing to this agency for 3 years is ridiculous. And I just, I want to so much see this county grow, but I think we're just burying our heads in the sand. Yep, we got to make sure that, we stay on Capusa's, the folks that run the place and say, look, this is what we want. You're gonna give it to us, or you're not, we're not gonna fund you. We'll take the money back from you. But if we just turn a blind eye to this, I think it's planning to fail. That's the way I see it. Thank you for your time.
From what I recall, there were 32,000, 32,500, and then there would be a concern, did you spend any of the 32,500? No. So again, I agree, Capusa there is real opportunities here. But there was an $80,000 investment in my NYSERDA grant to do strategic planning for Capusa. That was an investment, and I don't know that any of the end results of that strategic planning ever went anywhere. They were talking about the acronyms, the CC, whatever. That would be a revenue stream, but ideally, I'm concerned about the growth in the budget and what we're spending and what fund balance we're using, but to just make a request for $500,000 with no idea of, is it staff? What's going to be done with $500,000? I don't know, we'd give $500,000 to anyone that just says we don't have money and we'd like some.
Look where we're at with CETA. Give them $375,000. We asked for stuff and we were told you can't have it.
Apparently we should be getting it.
Fred.
I just want to reiterate that statutorily, this resolution is incomplete. You still need the funding side. We have the $500,000 for a specific request. We need to have the other side coming from some funding source, whether it's sales tax, whether it's a general fund. That then would make it a complete resolution. I just would hate to see any action on an incomplete resolution at this point.
Mr. Chair, I'll
One amendment.
pull the motion.
You want to pull it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tim?
I just do I sense your frustration. I'm a little bit in with Trish on this. And that and hearing that there was some money for a strategic plan, maybe there's something in the record. If there was kind of like a flow chart or a plan or some other information, I think we do need to put money into Capusa. And there's some opportunities there for our county to have some reduced electric rates and things like that could come, and that would draw businesses to want to come here. And I just don't know how we get there, but
we have made presentations before the legislature with a business plan in place. An indication of some of the revenue generated, but
I would bring that business plan back to the full ledge meeting coming up and let us look at it. There's still a month left. And the budget hasn't been approved yet. And see what we can do to move that along. We have given $375,000 to CETA And when we asked for anything, they said, well, attorneys say we can't get it. Attorneys, we can't give that out. I can't tell you how many rejection emails I got from CETA when asking for information about how the money was spent, or if any of the money was spent and why we didn't get it back. We don't seem to care about that.
Right.
But I am in Trish's.
I'll wait till after the chairman talks.
Yeah, Bob, if we table this now, or you resolution or your poll or your request, can you get us information by the 28th so we can see it, your plan, and maybe John can help you, Ray Lockwood, whoever, maybe, I don't know, anybody on your board, but can you get us that information? I would like to support Capusa myself, but we do need that so everybody can see it. Can you do that by the 28th?
Yep.
And then get it to me and I can share it with everybody prior to that. Is that okay with you? Okay. I think that's good then.
Right. So this is slightly off topic. I know we're in the middle of our budget process. If legislators have resolutions that they would want to bring, it might be helpful to talk to Lynn, to talk to myself, to get the revenue side and the expense side all set up ahead of time. We could have that discussion so that you have in hand, you'd like to increase this account, decrease that account. That might make things flow a little bit more smoothly, so I'll offer that up. It's mostly going to go to Lynn, and she'll probably throw something at me for that, but that might make the process go a little bit smoother. So, thank you.
Bob, I just want to say, I'm not against Capusa. I think it is an organization that we need to get going and have stuff happen, but we can't do it blindly. We don't want to have another situation like we're having with CETA. We want to go in with our eyes wide open and knowing everything we're getting into.
Any further comments on anything? Any further resolutions by anybody? David?
I talked to a couple of guys today in my office. I will be calling a special meeting probably within the next week or two to bring in CETA, to bring in CCIDA, to bring in the county information that we have, as we discussed in a meeting probably 10 days ago now. So they all will be invited in to do a presentation in the public, and then we will go into executive session and talk about the 3 presentations. That will be done within probably 2 weeks. Been waiting for all those 3 entities to get their facts together. Just so everybody knows.
Okay, anybody else? Anything?
Yeah, I just want to tell you. I just wanted to tell you I was glad to be here.
We got one.
Hang on a second.
We have to do one resolution, right?
We still have one resolution,
Okay.
and I was referring to Lynn to see how she wants to do it. This is Ways and Means 1. Just need to maybe identify what the amendments are that have been approved at this point, so I'll turn it over to Lynn. Thank you.
I've tracked it on my spreadsheet, so I'll just summarize what we had passed yesterday and today. So that's the resolution Fred is referring to that we're asking you to pass. So we're amending the 911 budget. We're increasing their part-time salary account A30201 51002. We're increasing that by $16,493. We have the Youth Bureau account, their part-time salary A73101 51002, decreasing that by $10,088. And the veteran changes that we talked about tonight, increasing account A65101, decreasing A65101 51001 full-time salary, $43,009, increasing part-time salary A65101 51002, decreasing it by $40,063, increasing Social Security A65101 58001 by $6,173. And then we are increasing their department expenditure account A65104 54074 by $20,000. All of these together is a total of a decrease of $107,679. And the offset has been to reduce the sales tax production.
Can I move it WM1, or do I have to say move WM1 as amended?
Well, it's not as amended, it's as explained.
Okay, so I'll move WM1 as explained.
Second, Basile.
Okay, any further comments on The preliminary budget, I believe it would be.
It still will be voted by the full legislature.
That's
this
correct.
resolution.
These changes, assuming this passes, these changes will go to the legislature at the 28th. Legislature will consider it and then consider any other amendments that may come from the floor at that point. And set a date and time for the public hearing. It's done tonight.
No further comments by anybody? Mike made a motion here.
Sure.
To adjourn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we have a vote on?
No, we didn't. You didn't vote on
You
that.
vote on Ways and Means.
You got to vote on,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay. You're moving WM one, okay? Right?
It's been moved and seconded.
It's already been
Seconded.
Just need a vote, Hans. Just a vote.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Carried.
Just a reminder that the sheriff is gonna get us that information regarding the boat. And Bobby will bring some information hopefully to us
That's our final.
the 28th. Thank you, everyone.
So who made the motion to adjourn? I missed that.
Mike did.
Chris and Mike.
Thank you.